Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Okay, so this is going to be another weird one. You'll notice we're back in. This might end up turning into a regular surrounding for a while. Okay. Black Crowes. 3 Snakes and 1 Charm. Alright, so I like this. Nice little throwback to the days of the records. This one's going to be kind of fast and a little bit different than the way I normally do a review. If you take folksy rock, blues rock, soul bass rock, like blues and soul bass rock, so you're talking like, Led Zeppelin, definitely, like Led Zeppelin 3, I'm thinking. Maybe a little bit of Zeppelin 1 and 2. 3 is, I want to lean definitely a lot towards 3. You look at Bad Company, Straight Shooter, which I just recently covered. The Commitment soundtracks, which I covered for both of them. Okay, so if you look at those, I'm one who really enjoys and appreciates blues and soul based rock and roll, like some true classic rock and roll. Got that flair and that vibe to it and whatnot. And I definitely will say that, Chris and Rich Robinson. Chris Robinson, I believe, being the vocalist. Rich Robinson, I believe, being the guitarist for the Black Crowes. Other musicians on this album are Steve Gorman, John Colt, Mark Ford, and Eddie Harsh. None of them are specifically listed as to what instrument they play, so I do not know. I'm not popping up the stuff on the sides because I'm not doing that at this time. There's a slew of other musicians on here as well, doing horns, some other guitars, various other instruments kind of thing. Where I was going anyways, Chris and Rich Robinson, they can write really good songs. Really, really good songs. There's 12 tracks on here, and at least 6 of them were pretty decent. Under a Mountain, which kicks off the album, is pretty good. Good Friday, a little religious for me, but not bad. Nebuchadnezzar, technically a little religious for me, but not bad. One Mirror Too Many, yeah, it was okay. Blackberry was pretty cool. Girl from a Pawn Shop, weird name, but a good song. Only Halfway to Everywhere is pretty good. Bring On was pretty good. I guess so, more than half the album so far. How Much for Your Wings? Meh, alright. Let Me Share the Ride? Okay. Better When You're Not Alone, I didn't mind that one. And Evil Eye was pretty good. But would I recommend this album? Not necessarily. I would only recommend this album to people that were in that kind of genre of music, the blues and soul based music, rock and roll. Like, for example, there's 2 songs that the Black Crowes covered previous to this album. I should say this album was released in 1996. All right. So, or at least it's copyrighted in 1996. This music definitely would not have been in that much at that time. It would have been a little late. The Black Crowes kind of hit it big for their 2 covers, which I can't even think of the name of right now. I want to say Too Hot to Handle, and I know I don't remember. I know it's on the Commitments soundtrack. And I definitely prefer the Commitments version over this. Now, that's the thing. That's where I'm going with this. If you were to take this album, if I were to make a New Commitments movie today, and I wanted to throw a few songs in there that were outside of the norm, there are some choice tracks on here that would be worth throwing in there. I think they'd be really, really good. I just don't. It's not even that the production's bad, it's just. It's neutered. The album kind of feels neutered. There's something about it just doesn't feel lively enough. I think maybe that's it. Is I think this is definitely a studio kind of feeling album instead of feeling like a live album. Now I've never seen the Black Crowes live, so I can't say. And if I see them live one day, maybe that'll change my opinion. But I think that's the problem is this album needed to be recorded live off the floor, done in multiple takes with just the band. You know, get it all primed up, get it all ready, have everybody practiced out, and they record every track live off the floor. And I think that's how it should have been done. I think it would have been significantly better that way than it was. Because for an album that has a bunch of tracks on it that I really honestly think are good songs, the album itself isn't that impressive. It's like I would throw this on in the background every once in a while if I were working in a guitar shop or a music store, or a record store. I would quite possibly throw this on every once in a while in the background because it would make people go, "Oh wait, what the hell is that?" But it's a deep cut kind of album. That's a great way to put it. This is a great deep cut kind of album, but that's all it is deep cuts. So for your average listener, your average viewer, I couldn't suggest it. I couldn't recommend it. As weird as that may sound, or as odd as that may be, it just doesn't work as an album for me that way. It really. Maybe if it was in the hands of different producers. Now, this was produced by Jack Joseph Puig, Puig. I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that, and the Black Crowes. There are very few bands that I'm okay when they get a line in the producer credits. Very, very few bands. And it's usually because I find the bands themselves, the way they skew the mix, I'm not a fan of it. And that could be the case here. It could be the producer and the Black Crowes together I'm not a fan of. I really personally, if I were producing this album, I would have done it differently. I would have made the guys practice these songs out left, right, and center, nail them down, and we would have recorded them live off the floor. Might have had to do it in a few takes, maybe even a good old-fashioned cut and splice between a couple takes to get it exactly perfect. I'm okay with that. But there definitely would have been no Pro Tools, and it wouldn't have been an individual person coming in and punching in parts and stuff like that. This definitely, I think, really lost something from not having that live off the floor kind of vibe. Or, even in a club, something like that. It's just, there's something definitely missing from it. There's an energy. Those are my thoughts on this, folks. I like I said, I'm not going to break this down song by song, because most of the songs are really good. I think it's worth checking out every song on here for different reasons. And my reasons are, this is a slow song. This sounds really cool because it has a good vibe here. This is a fast song. It has the right vibe here. This album's laid out great. Everything about this should make it a great album. It kind of falls flat, and it's really weird that way. So let me know what you think of this album. Am I interpreting this album kind of weird? Do I have a weird kind of take on this album? I don't know. That's just kind of how I'm feeling on this album. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Check this album out if you're a musician who's looking at getting into some good blues and souls rock. That's how I'm going to say it. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, bell for notifications. There's a link that'll take you to the TWA, that is the Trampoline Wrestling Association, worth checking out. There's also a link that'll take you to my Patreon, that it can be worth checking out as well. You can throw me a few bucks that way. Please, thank you. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.